September is National Recovery Month, and before we talk too much more about what it looks like to walk that road to recovery, we want to focus on a woman who knows quite well what that road can look like and has taken her own journey to now help and empower other women, particularly along the way. So I bet you already know who I'm talking about, Scotty Bowman, who has the launch pad. With her is Mark Height, who, no surprise to me, is on the board. You always find a way to be on the board of something that works, don't you?
Well, Scotty, as I followed Scotty's journey over the years, I was glad to join hands and learn, first of all, about all of the families that are affected in our community by addiction and the need for recovery. So I'm glad to be your partner.
I mean, I guess, Scotty, I'll start by saying we've come a long way in this country that we even have put aside a month to talk about the issue of recovery.
We have come a long way, and that's what the Launchpad and myself really is focusing on, trying to erase the stigma of drug addiction and alcoholism so that people want to help, because it's so easy to forget about us, to forget that we're still human beings and that we can change. And a lot of people were like, well, it's your choice. You made a choice to be an addict, so why should I help you? You should make a choice to stop. But it's really not that easy. It's a mental obsession that really takes over you. And you know, I know the AMA, named it a disease many years ago, but people still don't really look at it that way. They still think we have free will to choose to stop using drugs and alcohol. And really, once it takes a hold of you, your free will is lost.
So you have twice the harm coming your way as an addict. Then you have the addiction, which in and of itself is harmful, and then you have the shame, which makes it more difficult to seek help.
Yes, and you have the stigma, and I'm not saying that every family needs to just accept addicts and put up with everything that they do. There does come a point where you have to say no, and I totally understand that, because it eventually becomes on us to want to make the change. It's not enough for our mothers or our fathers or our children to say, please change, look what you're doing to yourself. Eventually, there's a moment of clarity that comes to us where we have to make a decision that we don't want to die and start to look at it in terms of saving ourselves. And then we can start to think about helping our families to accept us back in.
Okay, there are a lot of things I want to try to work my way through here too. So one of them is, you just said though that it's not a choice, that you're addicted to this, yet you found all the success with the Launchpad. So for those who might not know what the Launchpad is, explain that, and then how it is that you're finding this success for these women.
Well, the Launchpad is a sober living community for women recovering from alcohol and drug addiction. We really feel like if you heal the woman, you'll heal the American family, because she's the backbone of the family. And so we have to start there. But we have found success because we've opened our first house in 2020, and in 3 short years we now have 5 homes. We have 49 beds for women in addiction. We have 3 beds for resident managers who live on site and help control, and not control, but monitor the women and have someone that they have to be held accountable to. So we started with 8 beds in 2020, and we now have 49. So we're having success in a lot. I mean, the community has really rallied behind us. We were given a great donation to build 4 of the houses, of course. That was Karen Hutton, and she did say that, she wants to be anonymous, but she did say that we could say, because it's important to her that she give to this kind of thing. So we couldn't have grown without her, and we certainly couldn't have grown without God, and we couldn't have grown without an amazing board that I have.
Well, let's bring Mark into the conversation then on that part, because I know you're a person who typically, well, obviously you like things that work, but you love to learn in your own right. So I'm guessing, being a part of Scotty's World here on the board, you've learned a lot yourself.
I have, and as you know me from other work I do, I'm all about the children. And as we look at the women that are currently in the houses this week, we have 81 children that are estranged from their mothers, because we are a sober living home just for the mother. So Julie, if we can get these women on a road to sobriety, or continue the road to sobriety, continue them to get a living wage job, most importantly, help them facilitate some affordable housing, then we can reclaim that relationship and get those children back out of foster care or living with relatives or wherever they are today.
Right.
So as Scotty said at the very beginning, if we can heal the mother, we can begin to heal the home. And that's really a end goal for us.
I know y'all have like a pickleball thing coming up. Is that a fundraiser for the launch
We're
pad?
calling it a friend-raiser.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not as big a fundraiser, say, as the teal that we just did in August, but it's a friend-raiser. You can bring, it's $50 a person, doubles matches included, but it's just a little pickleball tournament, and you can bring money if you want to give money, or you could donate clothing, or, you know, we take other donations and volunteers to help us, but mostly we need to get the houses staffed, and so we're trying to raise money for that. And we are also trying to raise money for our phase 2, which is where we want to build quadruplexes on the same block, which is why we call it a community, because our 5 houses are on one block, and we have 4 other lots that we are going to build quadruplexes on so that our women can, as Mark was speaking to, move into affordable housing after we've helped them to procure livable wage jobs.
Everybody who crosses your path, I bet, says, gosh, she's amazing. You don't ever say your name in town, Scotty, that people don't say, oh man, isn't she something?
Well, it's always nice to hear, but I don't really deserve the credit. There's no way
do.
to say that this is not God-driven. You know, early in my sobriety, I would not admit that God had any part in my life. But now I look back and there were times that I can't claim anything other than it was a God shot. So this is a God shot that's lasting for a little while for me.
Well, you sure didn't take it for granted. Once you recognized it, you sure did keep it going. And we thank you for that.
Thank you, and I've had a lot of help in that area.
So sign up now, if you can, for the Friends Raiser.
Friend-raiser.
Happening, when is it again?
10/22, October 22nd.
Oh, you've got time then.
Yeah, noon to 6 over at Manker Patton, so it'll be a professional venue.
Okay.
A great time to learn about what we do and help us raise some money in all candor.
And if for some reason you can't be there for that, but you believe in what they're doing at the launch pad, I mean, clearly it works. I can't do the math in my head, but you've many times extended the number of women you can benefit in just 3 years, and those 81 kids who are going to get their moms back sober. That's a great thing. Thank you both.
Thank you.